Season 3 of The Boys just ended, and as I'm sure you're aware, Homelander, the main antagonist of the show, is considered to be a part of the evil Superman trope. My first introduction to the trope was Injustice, Gods Among Us, which featured Superman being tricked by the Joker using kryptonite gas. The gas made Superman think Lois Lane was Doomsday, and Superman decided to take Doomsday into space. When he got there, the illusion broke and he saw his wife floating there. Needless to say, Lois did not survive, and to make matters worse, she was pregnant with Clark's child. Superman then finds and kills the Joker and spends the next 5 years ruling the world, becoming more and more authoritarian. This game was written exceptionally well and honestly is the reason the evil Superman became so popular. Well, that and the fact that dark takes on superheroes in movies were popularized at the time because of the success of the Dark Knight trilogy. Compare the Superman shown in Superman Returns to the one shown in Man of Steel just a few years later. Now, does correlation prove causation? No. But seeing this type of switch when comparing the Raimi trilogy's portrayal of Spider-Man and the portrayal of in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 proves, at least in my eyes, that this is something to think about. With the rise in dark portrayals and the rise of superpowered social commentary, Superman clones were bound to rise into popularity. A question was asked: what if this character, who was considered to be a paragon of virtue and morality let loose, became less caring of the world around him? How would he interact with that world? After Injustice, many instances of this type of character showed up in media, so often in fact that people grew tired of it, myself included, until The Boys came along. The show became super popular, but I didn't care until I heard a huge amount of buzz for Season 3, and in my recommended videos list, a Comic Explains video came up. It was 5 hours long, and I clicked on it expecting to watch about 20 to 30 minutes. I watched the whole thing, and one of the biggest things that stood out to me was Homelander. He was clearly an evil Superman, but he was still his own character, a great character, and in my eyes, the best evil Superman. The Boys was written by Garth Ennis, who clearly hates superheroes. In fact, The Boys is nothing but a critique of superheroes and their impact on the societies they lived in. Despite that, he created one of the coolest groups of superheroes in all of fiction, the Seven, and when a new member, Starlight, is added to their ranks, we see the evil of Homelander for the first time, when he pressures Starlight into acts. The scene is at first almost comically jarring, with Homelander switching from being a simple blonde Superman into the despicable person we know him to be. With this switch coming right on the heels of Huey's girlfriend dying out of nowhere, we are continuously shown that things in this story can change at any moment. Homelander isn't even the real villain here, Vought American is. The way Homelander is able to hide his evil in plain sight is because of the meddling of Vought American. Vought is more interested in profit than in the lives of Americans. Seeing Homelander be completely controlled by these people was so odd to me, given that he lives in a world that is basically cardboard to him. The control that is over Homelander is due to the fact that he wants to be loved. He lives for the love of the people and approval of his superiors. He threatens A-Train for cutting up in a meeting because that's messing with the money, but he doesn't need the money. If Homelander was dropped from Vought, then he could just walk into a bank, take as much as he wants, and no one can stop him. The reason Homelander cares about the money is the principle. A good budget indicates the Seven have garnered a level of approval. This want, this need for approval, is caused by the fact that he had none growing up. In this sense, he never grew up. He often finds himself completely mentally overpowered by people who just aren't scared of or in love with him. James Stillwell basically owns Homelander just because he isn't impressed by him. James sees Homelander as the man-child he is. Homelander could kill James at any time, but if he does, then he'll never get approval. Despite all these insecurities being unfortunate, Homelander has still done some horrible things, like letting a plane full of people die and then trying to fly through the plane, killing his teammate Marathon in the process. He made Soldier Boy have sex with him to get on the Seven.
Pause on that.
He killed the president. He flew this family into the sky and dropped. There's always reasons behind his actions, as despicable as these reasons may be. When it comes to the plane, Homelander starts to have to try harder than normal and just gives up. When the Soldier Boy thing happens, it's just to stroke his ego. He uses his power over someone just because he can. because he can do anything. When someone who is evil is obsessed with gaining power over others, and they are already physically stronger than everybody, they look for different ways to hold power over said others. And this is his way of holding power over Soldier Boy. He killed the president because he needed to take over the country. He flies the family up to the sky to have an excuse to sneak away from the prying ears of all America. When he drops them, it's because that's just the easiest thing to do in the moment. Why fly them down and fly back up? Just let them go and fly up to the meeting. Let's compare him to another evil Superman, this one being the Superman from Injustice. He kills Billy Batson for bringing up Lois. He keeps trying to fight Zeus when he knows it's futile. He tries to kill Black Canary with no regard for the world around him and allows himself to get filmed doing it. He kills Green Arrow for accidentally shooting his parents. Now you might be thinking, well, he was doing these things for a reason too. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the awareness. Everything Homelander does is geared around gaining power and staying under Vaught's radar until the right time. Injustice Superman simply wants to kill his enemies and rule the world. The slightest bit of nuance makes Homelander the better man-child. They are goal-oriented, but Homelander's goals are building towards a bigger, singular goal. To be fair, Superman in the Injustice comics is flooded with constant threats that Homelander just doesn't have to deal with, but he manages to handle them increasingly poorly until he is ultimately defeated. Homelander isn't even beaten by his own weakness. He was beaten by a completely unpredictable twist at the end after he made his big move. Let's talk about the end of The Boys. So at the end of The Boys, Homelander rallied the Supes together and began his attempt to take over the country. The Supes face off with the military while Homelander goes into the White House. The Supes get decimated in the encounter. It is a nice subversion to see superheroes lose to a force that is basically a doormat in most other stories, and that's fine. Homelander killed the president in the meantime, and Billy Bats walks into the Oval Office for a final battle that's been set up throughout the story, but then Black Noir walks in. Black Noir hasn't done much of note to this point, but then reveals a Black Zetsu level recon. He is a clone of Homelander who got bored of Homelander not acting out, so he manipulated him into doing horrible things by going out and doing said types of things and taking pictures. Then Homelander would find the pictures and start to believe he had done it. Are you confused? That's fine, because it's a confusing premise that doesn't make that much sense. The final villain used gaslighting to win. There is no indication of this in the story beforehand. We went from early Game of Thrones subversion, quick and well used, not trying to be smarter than the audience, then switched to The Last Jedi subversion, trying to change something just to change it. Earlier on, we see Homelander in the fetal position, looking at the pictures of the horrible things he had done. I thought this was a setup to show at the end of the story, Homelander would show some sort of remorse for the horrors he committed before he died. Instead, it is a man slowly going insane because there are pictures of him doing bad stuff and he doesn't remember it. At least Daenerys losing her mind had the precedent of being a Targaryen. This was just an absolute blindside, even more than that was. Garth Ennis is a good writer, great even. That's why the ending taking such a random dumb swerve was so surprising. It takes all the agency away from Homelander and makes all his decisions not even his. He was led along this whole time and had no real control. And that's why I think Omni-Man is the best evil Superman. Jokes aside, I love the Homelander in the show. He is so much better in every way. He is trained, he can work with Billy when he needs to, he is still insecure, and that's what makes him Homelander. I'm glad the same ending won't happen in the show because the fallout would be How I Met Your Mother or Game of Thrones level. People would forget all the good the show did in lieu of the horrible ending. I know this because that's how some people view the comics. Sometimes I even find myself only remembering that ending. I think this show has taken a good setting and foundation and built a really cool product from it, and I want to see where it goes.